All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive into current affairs, specifically for all of you UPSC aspirants out there. This is part 2 of our February 8th, 2025 news roundup.
And you know what that means.
What is that?
If you're feeling like you're getting a little bit of a head start, a quick revision on some of these topics, you're absolutely right.
You're already ahead of the game.
And for those of you just joining us, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe.
Yes, keep those daily insights flowing. All right, let's jump right into it. What do we have today?
Well, today we've got a really fascinating mix of global and national developments. And this is actually perfect for the UPSC because it demands that you understand how everything connects.
Everything is connected.
We're going to be unpacking the UN's report on women's rights. We'll be taking a look at some of the concerns surrounding PILs in India, public interest litigations.
Right.
We'll be exploring the potential of grassroots innovation. Plus, we'll analyze the latest on India's AI ambitions, and we'll even delve into some key governance changes that are happening in Assam.
Buckle up, everybody. Okay, let's start with this UN report on women's rights. So it's been 30 years since the Beijing Declaration, which, for all of you out there, was a landmark moment for gender equality. This report, and they titled it, Women's Rights in Review, 30 years after Beijing, it really paints a very complex picture, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Right.
We see undeniable progress in certain areas, like we see more women in politics. We see stronger legal protections against discrimination.
Right.
For example, the number of countries that have banned gender-based job discrimination has actually jumped from 58 to 162.
Wow.
That's huge. But we also see persistent challenges, like, for instance, the global gender pay gap.
Right.
Women still earn 20% less than men on average.
On average, yeah.
And violence against women, that sadly remains a global epidemic, with 1 in 3 women experiencing physical or sexual violence in their lifetime.
Those statistics are very alarming. Now, the report highlights 6 key areas for action in what they're calling the Beijing Plus 30 Action Agenda. And one that I think particularly stands out to me, and I'm sure this is relevant for all of you as future policymakers, is this idea of closing the digital gender gap.
Oh, absolutely.
And this connects directly to India's own, push for digital inclusion.
Exactly. If we want to empower women, we need to make sure that they have equal access to technology and equal access to the opportunities that technology unlocks.
Right.
This isn't just a social issue. This is an economic imperative. Think about it. A digitally empowered woman contributes more effectively to the economy,
For sure.
driving growth and development. So, it's a win-win all around.
It's all connected. And speaking of things being connected, let's move on to this discussion about public interest litigations,
Okay.
or PILs. So a Supreme Court judge has actually expressed concerns about the potential misuse of these PILs. Now, for those of you who need a quick reminder, a PIL allows any citizen to approach the court for matters of public interest. And it's actually been a very powerful tool for social justice here in India. But what's the issue here? Why is there this concern about misuse?
Well, the concern is that these PILs can be hijacked
Okay.
for personal gain, or even just for publicity, turning them into what some people call publicity interest litigation.
Oh, interesting.
And this really undermines the true purpose of PILs, which is to actually protect the rights and interests of the vulnerable.
Right.
It also burdens the judiciary with a lot of frivolous cases, which can delay justice for those who actually genuinely need it.
Right. So it's about finding a balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Between ensuring access to justice, but also preventing misuse. Because PILs have been so instrumental in driving social change here in India.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, think about landmark judgments like the triple talaq case.
Huge. Yeah.
That wouldn't have been possible without the PIL mechanism.
Yeah. The triple talaq case is a perfect example of how PILs can really amplify the voices of marginalized communities and bring about much-needed legal reform. But as with any powerful tool, it's so crucial to use it responsibly and ethically. This is something for all of you to ponder. How can we strengthen the PIL system to prevent misuse while preserving its ability to actually deliver justice?
That is a great question for our listeners to think about. All right, shifting gears to something a little bit more uplifting. The Minister of Science and Technology has been highlighting the role of the National Innovation Foundation, or the NIF,
Okay.
in promoting what they're calling grassroots innovation. So what exactly is grassroots innovation, and why is it so important, especially in a country like India?
So grassroots innovation is really about finding solutions from the ground up, often in these resource-constrained environments. These are innovations that are born out of necessity and a deep understanding of the local challenges. It's about empowering communities to solve their own problems.
Right, and the NIF has been doing some fantastic work in this area, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. They've supported over 25 startups,
Wow.
some of which have achieved annual turnovers that exceed 10 crore. The NIF has also facilitated over 1,400 patent filings, with many of them being granted both in India and internationally. It's a testament to the incredible ingenuity and problem-solving spirit that exists in every corner of our country.
It's so true. It really makes you realize that innovation isn't confined to labs and research institutions. You know, there's this whole world of creative solutions emerging from the grassroots level. But surely these innovators, they face their own set of challenges, right?
Oh, of course they do. One of the biggest challenges is access to resources. A lot of grassroots innovators lack the funding, the infrastructure, even just the basic information they need to scale up their ideas.
Right.
This is where targeted policy interventions and these support systems become absolutely crucial.
Yeah, and imagine the potential, you know?
Yeah.
If we could just bridge these gaps and empower these innovators to really, truly flourish. It's fascinating how something as simple as better internet access could really unlock so much potential. Now, let's talk about another area where access is key, technology. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, or MITE, has launched several initiatives to boost the AI ecosystem under what they're calling the IndiaAI mission.
Okay.
This is a big deal, right?
This is a big deal. The IndiaAI mission was actually launched back in March of 2024, and it has some incredibly ambitious goals. It aims to make India a global leader in AI by fostering innovation through partnerships and building a really robust infrastructure.
Right.
Think of it as like creating this fertile ground for AI to thrive.
Okay. So what exactly are these new initiatives all about?
One of the most interesting ones is this thing called AI Kosha. It's a platform for sharing data sets and AI models.
Interesting.
Think of it as this collaborative space where researchers and developers can actually come together, build and share AI solutions.
Like that.
Then you have the IndiaAI Compute Portal, which is going to provide subsidized access to high-powered computing resources, which are needed to train complex AI models. And perhaps, most importantly, there's an AI competency framework that is designed to equip public sector officials with AI skills.
That's so forward-thinking.
Yeah.
It shows that the government really recognizes the importance of AI in governance and in policymaking, which is definitely relevant for all of you UPSC aspirants out there.
Yeah.
Now, let's zoom in on a specific state, Assam. The Assembly there has passed some bills that are related to the autonomous councils in the state.
Yes,
Right.
they have. These bills will give the governor more control over what they call the statutory autonomous councils in cases where elections are delayed,
Okay.
but only after a one-year extension period.
Got it. So for those of us who may be a little fuzzy on this, what's the difference between these statutory councils and the constitutional ones?
That's a great question. So statutory autonomous councils, they're created by state laws, whereas constitutional autonomous councils, those derive their powers directly from the 6th schedule of the Constitution. We see those councils in states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Tripura. The key difference really lies in where their authority comes from and how much autonomy they have.
Got it. So the source of their power and the extent of their autonomy are really the key distinctions to keep in mind.
Right.
And this ties into the broader theme of governance and autonomy in tribal areas, which I know is a crucial topic for the UPSC Polity and Governance syllabus.
Absolutely.
Now, are you ready for some rapid-fire news?
Oh, bring it on.
All right, first up, Lithuania has withdrawn from the Convention on Cluster Munitions.
Okay.
Now, this is a good opportunity to remind all of you out there that India is not a signatory to this convention. These munitions are incredibly controversial, and it's because of their indiscriminate nature.
Yeah.
They scatter hundreds of bomblets over a wide area, many of which don't explode on impact and essentially become landmines. So it's really a humanitarian disaster waiting to happen.
Right.
So even though Lithuania might seem far away, their decision to withdraw really just highlights this global debate that is relevant to India's own security considerations.
Absolutely.
Speaking of security, the U.S. has proposed this new missile defense system that they're calling Golden Dome. What's that all about?
Think about it this way. Imagine like a vastly enhanced version of Israel's Iron Dome,
Okay.
but with even broader capabilities. It's designed to intercept not just ballistic missiles, but also hypersonic and cruise missiles, which are much more challenging to track and take down.
Okay, so it's really a technological leap forward that could really reshape these global power dynamics. Now, let's bring it back home to India. The Kerala police have just inaugurated this brand new state-of-the-art cybersecurity center. What makes this one special?
Well, it's powered by CDOT's Trinetra platform, which is an indigenously developed AI-powered solution. This is a great example of India's push for self-reliance when it comes to these critical technologies, especially in the face of growing cyber threats.
Right, so it's like we're building our own digital shields to protect our data and our infrastructure.
Yeah.
All right, now let's take a quick trip to Jammu and Kashmir, where they're promoting the Bangas Valley for ecotourism.
Okay.
What's so unique about this valley?
Well, it's nestled near the line of control, and it boasts this unique blend of mountain and grassland ecosystems.
Interesting.
It's a really delicate environment that requires careful planning and sustainable practices if it's going to thrive as a tourist destination.
Right, so this is a classic example of balancing economic development with environmental conservation, and that's a theme that comes up a lot in the UPSC.
All the time. It's about finding that sweet spot where tourism can benefit local communities without harming the natural beauty that attracts the visitors in the first place.
Right, exactly. All right, let's switch gears to a less scenic but equally important topic, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. There are reports that highlight the strategic importance of the Dnipro River in this conflict. Can you elaborate on that for our listeners?
Yeah. So the Dnipro River is this major geographical feature that cuts right through Ukraine. It flows through the capital, Kiev.
Okay.
Control over this river is absolutely crucial for both sides as it affects the movement of troops, supplies, and even information.
Wow.
It's a reminder that geography plays a very crucial role in shaping the course of conflicts.
For sure. And understanding these geographical factors is essential for the UPSC, especially when you're analyzing international relations and security issues. All right, let's move on to a fascinating scientific breakthrough. Researchers at IS Bangalore have developed this new type of alloy called a multi-principal element alloy, or MPEA. It's remarkably fatigue resistant.
Okay.
What's so special about these alloys?
Well, these MPEAs, they really challenge conventional wisdom in material science. Traditionally, making an alloy stronger often meant sacrificing its fatigue life, its ability to withstand repeated stress.
Right.
But these new alloys, they're both strong and incredibly durable.
Wow.
Opening up a world of possibilities for various industries.
It's like they've cracked the code for creating super materials.
Yeah.
That could revolutionize everything from aerospace to biomedical implants.
Exactly.
Now, for a bit of positive news on the diplomatic front, our Prime Minister has been honored with the Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados. What's the significance of this award?
Well, it really signifies the strengthening relationship between India and Barbados. It highlights the importance of soft power in international relations. It's about building bridges, forging partnerships through cultural exchange and diplomacy.
Right, so it's a reminder that India's global influence isn't just about economic or military might.
Yeah.
It's also about building strong relationships with nations around the world.
Exactly. It's about earning respect and trust on the global stage, which can lead to greater cooperation on issues that really matter to India.
Now let's bring it back to the Indian economy. A new credit assessment model for MSMEs has been launched, and this is based on their digital footprints.
Okay.
This sounds like a real game changer for small businesses. What do you think?
I think so, too. Traditionally, MSMEs have really struggled to access credit because they often lack formal financial records.
Right.
This new model, it leverages data analytics to assess their creditworthiness based on alternative data sources, like their online transactions, their GST filings.
So it's like creating a financial profile based on their digital activity, making it much easier for them to get the funding that they need to actually grow their businesses.
Exactly. It's about using technology to empower small businesses, which are, as we all know, the backbone of the Indian economy.
Right.
It's about promoting financial inclusion, fostering entrepreneurship. which really aligns perfectly with the government's economic vision.
It's a great example of how technology can be used to address social and economic challenges.
Absolutely. And it's something for all of you as future policymakers to really think about, how can we leverage technology to create more inclusive and equitable systems?
Right.
How can we ensure that the benefits of technological advancement reach all segments of society?
That is a great question to ponder. And finally, we have a story that combines adventure, empowerment, and maritime prowess. INSV Tarini, which is an Indian naval sailing vessel crewed entirely by women officers, has reached the Falkland Islands.
That is so cool.
I know.
This is a remarkable feat of seamanship. It's a powerful symbol of women breaking barriers in these traditionally male-dominated fields.
Right.
It showcases India's growing maritime capabilities and its commitment to gender equality.
It's an inspiring story that really captures the essence of a rising India.
Yeah.
Confident and making its mark on the world stage.
Indeed. It's about pushing boundaries, challenging norms, demonstrating that India is a force to be reckoned with on the global stage.
Well, we have covered a lot of ground today. Yeah. From the UN's report on women's rights to cutting-edge alloys developed right here in India. And remember, it's not just about absorbing information. It's about connecting the dots, understanding the bigger picture. And that's exactly what we're going to do in part 3 of our February 8th News Roundup.
That's right. We'll revisit some of these topics and explore their implications in more depth.
Exactly.
Providing you with the insights that you need to ace those UPSC exams. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving into part 2 of our February 8th news analysis, specially curated for you, our dedicated UPSC aspirants.
That's right.
Staying informed about current affairs is absolutely key to acing those exams.
Couldn't agree more. We've already covered some really crucial ground in part 1, but there's still so much more to explore.
There is.
Today, we're going to delve deeper into some of these international developments, analyze India's strides in cybersecurity, and we'll even touch upon the fascinating world of material science. Are you ready to dive back in?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, let's kick things off with Lithuania's decision to withdraw from the Convention on Cluster Munitions. Now, this might seem like a somewhat distant event, but it actually highlights a crucial point, especially when we're thinking about the UPSC, and that's India's stance on international treaties. So just as a reminder, India is not a signatory to this particular convention.
Right.
And I think it's important to understand why.
I think so, too.
Could you shed some light on why these weapons are so controversial and why India hasn't signed this convention?
Sure. So cluster munitions, they're essentially bombs that scatter hundreds of smaller bomblets over a very wide area. Yeah. The problem is that many of these bomblets don't actually explode on impact, which essentially turns them into landmines.
Wow.
They pose this grave threat to civilians long after the conflict is over.
So it's like this ticking time bomb just waiting to go off, which, explains the international push to ban them.
Right.
But why hasn't India signed this treaty?
Well, India's decision is really rooted in its complex security calculus.
Yeah.
We share borders with nations that possess these weapons. Mm-hmm. And our stance is really influenced by realpolitik.
Right.
It's a very delicate balancing act.
Right.
Between adhering to these international norms and safeguarding, our own national interests.
Right.
And I think that's something that's so crucial for the UPSC is to be able to analyze decisions like this in a broader geopolitical context.
That is a valuable insight for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, switching gears to something a little bit more technological, the U.S. has proposed this Golden Dome missile defense system.
Okay.
And I gotta say, it sounds pretty futuristic. So what exactly is it, and what are the implications of technology like this for global security?
Yeah, so the Golden Dome, think of it like this. It's inspired by Israel's Iron Dome, but aims to be even more advanced. It's designed to intercept not just ballistic missiles, but also hypersonic and cruise missiles, which are notoriously difficult to track and intercept.
So it's kind of like this super shield capable of defending against, a wider range of threats.
Yeah, exactly.
But how does this impact, the global security landscape?
Well, think about it this way. The development of these advanced defense systems, they could actually shift the global balance of power, potentially even leading to a new arms race.
Wow.
It's a technological leap that could have really, really far-reaching geopolitical consequences.
It's a reminder that technology is constantly reshaping the global security landscape, and we need to really understand these changes in order to analyze international relations effectively.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift our focus back to India. The Kerala police have launched a new cybersecurity center, powered by CDOT's Trinitra platform. What makes this significant in the context of India's technological advancements?
Well, what's really interesting here is the emphasis on this indigenous solution.
Okay.
So Trinitra, it's an AI-powered cybersecurity platform that was actually developed right here in India.
Wow.
And this really demonstrates our growing capabilities in this critical domain.
Right. So it's not just about acquiring technology, but also about developing our own solutions.
Exactly. And this actually ties into, a much larger trend of India striving for self-reliance when it comes to technology,
Right.
especially in really crucial areas like cybersecurity. As we transition to a more digital economy, safeguarding our data and our infrastructure becomes absolutely paramount.
So this aligns with the Make in India initiative, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about manufacturing goods, but also innovating in technology.
Exactly. It's about fostering this culture of innovation within India
Right.
and reducing our dependence on foreign technologies. And that's a key theme that really runs through various government policies and initiatives. Understanding that is crucial for the UPSC.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of unique landscapes, Jammu and Kashmir is taking steps to promote the Bangas Valley as an ecotourism destination.
Okay.
This valley is located near the line of control, and it has a very, very unique ecosystem. So what are some of the challenges and opportunities that come with developing this area for tourism?
Yeah. So the Bangas Valley, it boasts this stunning blend of mountain and grassland ecosystems.
Right.
It's a breathtakingly beautiful region,
Right.
but it's also ecologically sensitive.
Right.
Promoting ecotourism here is a classic example of balancing economic development with environmental conservation.
It's about finding that delicate balance between showcasing the natural beauty of a place, but also ensuring that tourism doesn't harm the very environment that, attracts visitors in the first place.
Right. And if it's done right, ecotourism can really empower local communities. It can generate income.
Yeah.
It can raise awareness about the importance of protecting these fragile ecosystems.
Right.
However, it does require meticulous planning
Right.
and really sustainable practices to avoid the pitfalls of over-tourism and environmental degradation. And this is a theme that frequently appears in the UPSC.
Yeah.
As it links to sustainable development goals and environmental policy.
It's about understanding the interconnectedness of economic development, environmental conservation, and social well-being. Now let's turn our attention back to the conflict in Ukraine. We discussed the strategic significance of the Dnieper River earlier, and I thought this was really fascinating. Can you explain this concept of choke points and why they're so important in a geopolitical context?
Yeah, so choke points are these geographical features that can really significantly influence the movement of resources, troops, and even information. This can be straits, canals, or in this case, a major river like the Dnieper. Whoever controls a choke point has this huge strategic advantage during a conflict.
So understanding the geographical layout of a region can really give you some key insights into the dynamics of a conflict.
Oh, absolutely. And for the UPSC, it's not just about memorizing maps, it's about understanding how geography shapes history, politics, and international relations.
It's all connected. Now let's dive into another fascinating scientific breakthrough.
Okay.
Researchers at ISAN at Bangalore have created this new type of alloy called a multi-principal element alloy, or MPEA, that is remarkably fatigue resistant.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on what makes this discovery so remarkable?
Sure. So MPEAs, they really challenge the conventional wisdom in material science. Traditionally, increasing the strength of an alloy often meant compromising its fatigue life.
Okay.
Or its ability to withstand repeated stress.
Right.
But these MPEAs, they're both strong and incredibly durable.
So it's like they've cracked the code for creating super materials.
Yeah, kind of.
What are some of the potential applications for this technology?
Well, think about aerospace, automotive, even biomedical implants. The potential applications are vast.
Wow.
Imagine aircraft components that are lighter yet stronger, leading to more fuel-efficient planes.
Right.
Or medical implants that last longer and are more